rocking with your boy, man, Big Zoe. Big Zoe, Cuzzle, man. And you want quotable gems. I got another reaction review for y'all, man. You know, I'm going to keep throwing them janks. I'm going to keep throwing them bitches back. So, yeah, I got y'all. So, this joint we on today, shit. Chicago deadliest shooter. Said his own team turned on him. His own hood turned on him. MOB Baby Shorty. Baby Story. Yeah, MOB Baby. Yeah. But yeah, we gonna get it rocking, man.
It was a warm night on 59th and Wabash, the kind of night when the city feels quiet but dangerous at the same time. A car sat idle under an orange streetlight, engine humming low like it knew what was coming. In that still moment, a few shadows moved, and then the silence cracked open with gunfire. When it stopped,
Foreign.
the man slumped inside wasn't just anybody from the block. He was the one people whispered about, the name that brought fear and respect together. They said he got backdoored in his own hood, right where he felt safest. The same streets that made him turned on him. But how does that happen? To understand that, you got to know how Chicago made monsters like MOB Baby. Chicago's South Side in the early 2010s was already deep in chaos. A place where whole generations grew up surrounded by gun smoke and revenge. The city had turned into something people started calling Chirac, a nickname born from the constant killing that made the numbers look like a war zone overseas. Reporters kept talking about the murder rate, but in the neighborhoods, it wasn't numbers they were counting. It was names, each one painted on a wall or shouted in a song. The streets were split between two armies that used to be one, the gangster disciples and the black disciples. Every block had a flag. Every alley had a lookout. If you were from the wrong street, you didn't walk too far. South of 63rd was a whole different country from what was north of 59th, and nobody crossed those lines unless they wanted smoke. Kids barely out of middle school learned early that survival was about who you stood with, not who you were. Drill music became the soundtrack to all of it. What started as raw expression turned into real-life war stories put over beats. Rappers called out names, mocked the dead, and bragged about the living who did the shooting. It wasn't just songs anymore. It was communication between gangs. When Chief Keef dropped I Don't Like, the sound went nationwide. But
Hey, dead ass. When Chief Keef dropped that I Don't Like, that shit turned up. Turned up the whole world. Shit changed after that. That's when everybody went drill. Everybody went drill when Chief Keef popped out on that I Don't Like. That introduced everybody on that Chicago wave.
But for Chicago, it was more like a battle cry. Every crew wanted their name known. Every set wanted revenge for someone already gone. On the Black Disciple side, you had O Block, 300, and 600. These were the heavy hitters with faces that later became famous in rap. Chief Keef, Lil Durk, King Von. Across from them, on the Gangster Disciple side, stood STL, EBT, Jero City, 051 Young Money, and MOB. Those names carried weight on the streets long before anyone online knew what they meant. Each side had their own fallen heroes and their own shooters trying to balance the score. Mob, short for Men of Business, held down 56th through 59th, mixed in with a smaller area known as Wooga World. That stretch of South Wabash and State Street was dangerous territory, boxed in by rivals and watched by cops who rarely stopped anything. From O Block to MOB, you could drive only 10 minutes but pass through a dozen wars. Every corner had a story. Every story ended in blood. By 2012, Chicago's murder rate had exploded past 500 homicides a year. Videos went viral of kids holding guns bigger than their arms. On Twitter, gang members traded insults that turned into funerals. Some neighborhoods became ghost towns by night because everyone who mattered had already died or gone to jail. The word Chirac stuck for a reason. It wasn't just about the numbers. It was about how normal the violence had become. In that chaos, a new kind of soldier started rising. He wasn't a rapper. He wasn't online chasing followers. He was a quiet killer who didn't need a camera to prove anything. On 59th Street, they started whispering about a young guy named Bebe. Folks said he moved different, said he didn't talk much, didn't smile much either. They said, when he looked at you, it was like he already knew if you were a threat. Out of all the noise and flashing lights of Chirac,
That's it. That nigga said when he looked at your ass, he knew you was a bitch ass nigga. He could smell it on you, nigga. They say when he looked at a nigga, he knew his ass was a threat. Nigga, he knew you was a bitch ass nigga, or he knew you was a nigga he couldn't fuck with.
That quiet energy stood out. Out of that war came a shooter named M.O.B. Baby. Wooga World wasn't some nickname somebody made up for fun. It was a small but deadly pocket in the South Side, squeezed between 56th and 59th Street near Wabash. The name came from a fallen homie named Wooga, and the spot carried his memory like a badge. That's where M.O.B. Baby came up. He was part of the Gangster Disciples, repping Mob, a set known for discipline, tight circles, and silence. Mob stood for men of business, but in the streets, business meant bodies, not money. The Mob crew was linked up with 051 Young Money, another feared group that shared enemies with them. Together, they formed a deadly alliance against the Black Disciples from 600 and O Block. The war had already taken too many lives on both sides. By the time Bebe was a teenager, the block had seen so much blood that revenge was automatic. Growing up there meant understanding how quick love turned to war. Not much is known about M.O.B. Baby's childhood, but everyone who knew him said the same thing. He was quiet, calm, and didn't need to talk to show presence. He wasn't chasing attention like most young guys trying to get famous off rap. He wasn't on the internet throwing signs or dropping songs. He stayed off the grid. That was part of what made him so dangerous. Nobody knew his face, but everybody knew his name. Around that time, M.O.B. had a few standout names: Scrap, Dusky, and Ruger. Scrap was the muscle, Dusky was the charmer, and Ruger was the steady hand. Bebe learned from all of them, but it was Scrap who shaped his mindset the most. Scrap was fearless, the kind of guy who'd walk through rival territory without blinking. When he died in 2014, the set lost its backbone. After that, everyone looked to Bebe. Inside M.O.B., people started noticing how he handled himself. He didn't yell, didn't rush, but when things went down, he was the first to move. He had a reputation for being exact, like he treated every target as a job to finish clean. That calm attitude earned him respect even from older heads. They said Bebe wasn't a talker, he was a mover. He also started building ties with another killer from the other side of town, 051 Melly, one of the most feared shooters in the city. Melly wasn't GD or BD anymore. He was a renegade, respected and hated at the same time. The two clicked instantly. Melly was older, almost like a mentor, teaching Bebe how to move smarter and shoot cleaner. People saw them together often, training at gun ranges, staying ready. It was like Chicago's underworld had its own version of coach and student, except every lesson ended with real blood. By the time M.O.B. Baby turned 20, folks whispered his name like it was bad luck. If someone said, "Bebe's coming," people took it serious. He wasn't famous like a rapper, but in those neighborhoods, his name was legendary. The streets saw him as the new face of M.O.B., the quiet storm carrying on Scrap's name. And that storm was about to shake the city again. April 9th, 2014, Englewood, South Side, Chicago. Chief Keef's cousin, Mario Hess, better known as Blood Money, had just come home with big dreams. He'd signed with Interscope Records, started performing out of town, and was back visiting family on 56th Street. That night, he stood outside his family's house near Elizabeth Street, talking with relatives. He didn't know two cars had already pulled up slow on the block. Moments later, bullets started flying. Witnesses said it was a full-blown ambush. More than a dozen rounds hit the scene, and when it was over, Blood Money was gone before the ambulance arrived. His cousin standing next to him got hit too, but survived. For most people, it looked like another Chicago headline, another rapper gone too soon. But in the streets, people started whispering quick. They said that wasn't random. That was mob business. Rumors spread faster than the news itself. Some said it was about jealousy. Others said it was retaliation. Then the name started floating, M.O.B. Baby, and a shooter called Killer K.I. At first, people thought the K.I. meant the female assassin from STL named Gakira Barnes, who already had a deadly reputation. But that was wrong. This was a different K.I., a male gangster disciple from M.O.B. The mix-up only added confusion to a war already spinning out of control. Street sources later claimed Bebe and Killer K.I. were the two who ran that play. They said Bebe was the one firing from the side, making sure the target didn't walk away. Police never charged anyone, but the talk on the ground didn't stop. One documentary even said it straight. We all know who did it. It was Mob's killer K.I. and Bebe. After Blood Money's murder, things spiraled fast. Chief Keef's camp was furious, and the BDs from 600 and O Block wanted blood. Within days, STL's female shooter K.I. got killed too, likely in retaliation for something she didn't even do. It was the kind of mix-up that kept the city's body count climbing.
Niggas was falling out there, man.
The Blood Money hit was seen as a victory, a message to the other side that they could touch anybody, no matter how famous or connected. For Bebe, it was confirmation that his name meant fear. People started calling him the ghost of the South Side because nobody saw him coming and nobody saw him leave. By the end of 2014, everyone in the trenches knew who he was. The BDs from 600 had him marked as a top target. The GDs saw him as a hero who carried the war forward. And through it all, Bebe stayed quiet, never bragging, never posting, just moving carefully. That silence became his weapon. And in the war, called Chirac, silence could kill louder than any gun. But that was only the start. The Blood Money hit was just one chapter in a story that would end with betrayal, revenge, and the same streets that raised him turning against him. When Scrap died in 2014, the whole South Side felt that hit like thunder rolling through the blocks. His real name was Brian Weekly, and to MOB, he was their front man, their energy, their pride in the middle of war. He got killed in Washington Park, a place already soaked with too much blood. The street said a car rolled up, gunshots cracked out fast, and Scrap didn't make it off the pavement. That night, everybody knew something shifted inside MOB. You can't just kill a dude like Scrap and expect peace to follow after. Scrap had been the type that brought fire wherever he moved. He was wild and loud, always laughing 1 second and ready to ride the next. His confidence gave Mob a face, a voice that made rivals nervous when they heard him speak. When he went down, the set felt broken, like somebody cut the volume off the whole crew. For weeks, people walked quiet through 59th and Wabash, waiting for the next move. Everyone knew MOB wouldn't stay silent forever. That's when Bebe started moving different. He didn't say much, but you could tell something in him changed after Scrap's death. He became sharper, colder, almost like he made a silent promise to finish what Scrap started. If MOB needed something done, they called Bebe first. He was never one to argue or brag. He just handled business. While others grieved loud, he stayed calm and ready. He linked tighter with Dusky, Thaman, and Ruger, the other two holding Mob together after Scrap was gone. Dusky had the charisma to keep people motivated. Ruger had the brains to plan things right. But Bebe had that energy that made people trust his aim. His style was clean, methodical, and fearless. He didn't shoot just to spray, he shot to hit. The set started calling him the Mob Sniper, and that name stuck heavy. The younger ones saw him as the new face of MOB, the one carrying their revenge through precision instead of noise. And that sniper was about to score another high-value target. By summer 2015, MOB and 600 were neck-deep in tension that nobody could cool down. The two neighborhoods sat so close that beef was unavoidable. You could walk 5 minutes from 59th in State to 60th in King Drive, and you'd already be deep in 600 territory. That border felt like a war line, and every night somebody was testing it. On July 21st, 2015, a guy named Stello from 600 was driving through 59th and State, rolling in a Dodge Charger. He was 26, confident, and used to sliding around without fear. But that night, he drove too far into Mob's zone. He stopped at a red light near the intersection, probably not realizing eyes were already on him. A red car pulled up beside him, slow and quiet, and before he could react, the ambush started. Shooters popped out from different angles, some from the sidewalk, others from that car. Witnesses later said it happened so fast that the street barely had time to echo. Glass shattered, shell casings hit the pavement, and the Charger's windows burst apart. When it was done, Stella was slumped between the front and back seat, riddled with bullets before paramedics even arrived. He didn't fire a shot.
Dang.
It was a setup too tight to escape. Later, the event got immortalized in music. In an Exposing Me remix, FBG Duck and Ruga dropped that cold line. Stello got hit from the back of the seat. That wasn't just a lyric, it was a message to the streets. Everyone knew what they were talking about. Police reports linked the killing to MOB shooters, mentioning one name that kept repeating. E-Boy, a close associate of MOB Baby. Inside MOB, people said Bebe was the main hand behind it. the one who made sure the target didn't get away. He and E-Boy were tight, and the coordination looked too clean to be anyone else. The set gave Bebe credit for the kill, saying the hit was his work. In that world, getting credited meant respect. It meant your rep just jumped another level. For 600, it was a humiliation that stung bad. They hadn't lost one of their key members to MOB in a while.
Yeah, got that baby Uzi. Got that mini Uzi right there.
And now one of their known guys got dropped right on the border. The talk online and in the alleys started spinning immediately. 600 members wanted revenge, and Bebe's name started floating around as their #1 target. On the walls, you could see new graffiti tags marking the score. Mob felt proud. 600 felt disrespected. From that night, 600 had one name circled in red, MOB Baby. And while they plotted to even things up, Bebe just kept moving like nothing happened. Being hunted didn't slow him down. If anything, it made him even more focused. As the months rolled by, Bebe's name turned into legend territory. What made him dangerous wasn't just his trigger finger. It was the way he stayed invisible. Most killers on the South Side love to talk or post online after sliding on somebody. They showed guns, bragged about scores, dropped locations. Bebe never did none of that. He didn't even keep social media pages open for long. If he had an account, it was private and quiet. He wasn't a rapper. He didn't chase clout or drop songs about the things he did. You couldn't find a picture of him online, and that mystery made him scarier than anyone else. People called him the ghost of Mob because he moved unseen but left heavy evidence behind. In Chicago streets, loud shooters got caught. The quiet ones lasted longer. Street Talk said Bebe had at least 4 confirmed bodies, maybe more that nobody could trace. His name came up every time someone important on the BD side got touched. Still, he never said a word about any of it. When others joked or argued about who did what, he kept walking. That silence earned him respect, even from people who didn't like him. His crew looked at him like the pure definition of a soldier. He followed the code without slipping, never drawing attention, never talking reckless. People used to say, Bebe wasn't chasing followers, he was chasing survival. That phrase summed him up perfectly. Whenever he walked into a room, you could feel the temperature drop. Conversation slowed, laughter stopped, and everyone paid attention. Even his allies treated him with quiet respect. In a city filled with noise and bragging, that calm silence meant power. He didn't need words. His reputation talked for him. The mystery around him grew bigger with time. Younger members inside MOB tried copying his low-key lifestyle. They wanted to move quiet like Bebe, not post every move online. But few could match his discipline. He had learned from Scrap's mistakes and Melly's example. Every decision he made felt like part of a bigger plan. Still, no one stays unseen forever. Cameras, rumors, and fame eventually reach everyone in that world. And for Bebe, that moment came in 2016 when a familiar face behind a camera pointed the lens his way. Around early 2016, Chicago videographer Zach Stoner, known as Zach TV, started pulling up on different sets to document the city's drill culture. His YouTube interviews were famous for giving real gang members a chance to speak their side. He had been inside O Block, STL, 051, and everywhere in between. He wasn't scared to walk into danger with a camera in his hand. One day, Zach TV linked up with some 051 Young Money affiliates for another street interview. To his surprise, MOB Baby was with them that day. It was rare for Bebe to show his face on anything public. Most people who followed drill content had never seen him. This was the first time the ghost of Mob stood in front of a camera. From the very beginning, the atmosphere felt tense. In the video, you can see Zach's usual confidence fade a bit. The air felt heavier, like everyone in that room knew the kind of people standing there. Bebe was calm, but the energy around him made Zach uneasy. He spoke a few times, calling out fake rappers and reminding people that real killers move in silence. At one point, the group switched rooms mid-interview, and even through the lens, you could tell Zach wasn't relaxed anymore. People who watched that video later said it was the first time they ever saw Zach look nervous.
What Wayne say? Move G's, move in silence like a Zion. Move G. I'm fried. Real G's move in silence like lasagna. Yeah.
For someone who'd been inside some of Chicago's roughest neighborhoods, that said a lot. After the video dropped, the drill community exploded with conversation. Forums like Reddit and YouTube comments filled up fast, with people finally connecting a face to the name. Now everyone knew what MOB Baby looked like. That single interview broke years of invisibility. Some fans debated if Zach's work made shooters more recognizable to their enemies. Others said it wasn't Zach's fault, that fame in the streets always finds you eventually. Either way, the camera light had done what bullets couldn't. For someone who lived his life in the shadows, that spotlight was dangerous. It exposed him to eyes that were already watching, enemies waiting for a chance to strike. Weeks later, his own hood would prove that being seen in Chicago isn't always a blessing. June 13th, 2016, Wooga World was quiet. The kind of calm that comes before something ugly happens. MOB Baby was on his own block that night, parked up and relaxed, like nothing could touch him there. He was in familiar territory, surrounded by people he grew up with. To him, it was just another night in the hood. The same streets he had defended were now the place he felt safest. But behind that comfort, things had already started shifting. There had been small tension brewing for weeks, whispers about Bebe having words with some of the older heads. The most talked about story was a dice game gone wrong with a dude named Pyro, cousin of a known mob figure called Nut. People said the argument got heated, pride got involved, and Bebe's calm turned cold real quick. It might have seemed like nothing that night, but in the hood, small things turn deadly when egos start clashing. Around Mob, older members had begun feeling like Bebe was getting too much attention. He was young, quiet, and respected in a way that outshined some of the OGs. Some saw him as a threat, others said he didn't show enough respect. Those feelings mixed bad in a place already built on pride. People said he argued with the wrong ones, and that one move sealed his fate. Damn. That night, Bebe sat in a parked car near 59th and Wabash, scrolling through his phone, thinking nothing could go wrong in his own neighborhood. Then the quiet broke. Shots erupted from nearby. Multiple guns, close range. They hit him before he could even reach for his weapon. There was no warning, no shout, no setup call to get him out the car, just betrayal in its rawest form. When the shots stopped, the block went still. People said it didn't sound like ops sliding through. It sounded like something personal, clean, and planned. When police arrived, they found him still in the car, gone before paramedics got there. He died right there in Wooga World, the same place that raised him, surrounded by people he thought would ride for him. The news spread quick through the South Side. First, people thought it was 600 getting revenge for Stello. That made sense at first, but the story didn't hold up. Nobody saw strange cars. Nobody from outside came near. Street News TV later reported the truth most already knew. It wasn't the BDs. It wasn't 600. It was internal. The people who killed Bebe wore the same color as him. Rumors started flying faster than anyone could control. Some said Mob Nut and his cousin Gucci set him up over personal beef. Others believed it was a bigger mob plan to quiet him down before he gained more power. Nobody spoke on it officially, but everybody knew who was responsible. Still, nobody said a word. They called it the back door, the silent kill from within. Damn. People even compared it to what happened later with 051 Melly, Bebe's own mentor. Melly got hit in 2019, betrayed by people he trusted at a party. The streets noticed the pattern quick. Same way they did Bebe, one dude said online, and everybody understood what that meant. In the end, Moby Baby didn't get caught by ops, didn't get cornered by police, didn't get smoked on foreign turf. He got taken out by his own people. The mob sniper went out without a shot fired. After Bebe's death, everything in Mob changed. There were no arrests, no big investigation, no revenge mission like people expected. The killers were too close to home. Everyone knew if you talked, you'd probably end up next. The same people responsible were still walking through the same blocks every day, acting normal, keeping the silence tight.
That's crazy.
For 600, it was quiet celebration. They didn't have to do the work themselves, but their top enemy was gone.
Crazy work.
One less shooter to worry about, one less name to fear. Within MOB, things turned heavy. Paranoia spread like smoke through the alleys. If Bebe could get lined up, anyone could. People stopped trusting each other, stopped hanging out in groups, started moving solo. Dusky Thaman took it the hardest. He had been close to Bebe, almost like a brother. When he got killed 2 years later in 2018, some people said that too was connected to betrayal inside MOB. Rumors floated that older members had leaked his location, another backdoor. The whole set started eating itself alive. Meanwhile, the larger war in Chicago rolled on. 600 formed the Get Back Gang, their new unit built on revenge. MOB responded soon after, catching one of 600's members named Waldo in retaliation. The violence didn't stop, it just shifted targets. Moby Baby's murder ended up buried in a pile of unsolved cases, another forgotten headline that never saw justice. Still, his name didn't fade easy. Even in death, he carried power through fear and respect. People spoke his name quietly, like it still carried danger. After he was gone, stories about MOB Baby started spreading wider than they ever did when he was alive. YouTube channels began dropping street documentaries, calling him the Mob Sniper because of how clean his hits were. Reddit threads filled with fans and locals piecing together every rumor, every timeline. His name got written next to Scrap and Dusky, the three faces Mob called their fallen kings. Younger members started copying his quiet lifestyle, trying to move the way he did. They respected how he never chased fame, never played for cameras. It was ironic, though, because that silence made him legendary after death. Outsiders just saw another Chicago headline. But inside MOB, he stayed a reminder that loyalty in the streets comes with an expiration date. In a world full of noise, Bebe stayed silent until the end. Now, if you drive down 59th and Wabash, you'll still see faded graffiti and candles melted into the concrete. Time moved, but the pain stayed right there. Bebe lived by a code that turned around and took him out. Chicago never stopped bleeding after that. Every year, another shooter becomes another victim. Every gang keeps another back door open.
Crazy, though,
he wasn't the first, and he won't be the last. In these streets, even legends get lined up. MOB Baby's story ain't just about one man.
It be your own people, though. For real, it be your own people that's closest to you, that have watched you grow up, know your triggers, know what tick you off, know your secrets, know your whereabouts, know your little side duck off spot. Like, it be the people that be close to you that know everything about you. They can be able to try you. They can be able to do anything to you. Man, I would say shit, keep a small circle, but how you know them people ain't real? I don't know. Shit, my gym today, shit, know your peoples. Know your peoples. You know what I'm saying? Stay out the way. Big Zoe, checking out. Tell me who hot is me. Nigga, I'm a prodigy. Tell me who's stopping me. You haters ain't blocking me.